You're listening to Level Up Weekly on Radio Harbor Country. Tune in live on the air at WRHC 106.7 and WRHC 93.5 or on the web at www.radioharborcountry.org. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the world of Level Up Weekly, a bounteous, open podcast filled with amazing loot, legitimately challenging enemies, but not too difficult to defeat, and of course, the EXP. Join our fellow big headphone adventurers Dylan the Dude and Spurnaday as they journey on a quest to find the EXP from gaming news and discussion. Hello everybody, welcome to Level Up Weekly, your weekly XP for gaming news, and it is great to be back over here in the booth. It has been quite a few weeks since we've technically sat down and really recorded with each other here, Dylan. It feels good to be back once again, but this time it's going to be a little bit different. You may notice that our audio quality is a little bit either better or worse, depending on what you like, because we're deciding to use our own personal equipment from probably, 5 hours away from each other?
About 5 hours, yeah.
Yeah, I know, because right now, for those of you that don't know, Dylan and I are college students. I am over at Davenport University studying network management and security. Dylan, you can mention what you're doing.
And I am at Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana, studying communication.
I'm over in Grand Rapids, so we're doing this from across the world of Discord. And we're seeing if this is going to be able to work out here. We've done something like this before in the past. For those of you who are Season 1 and Season 2 former loyal fans, of which that Jordan never put together the recorded episodes to put on Podbean, so they're probably lost in the internet realm somewhere. But outside of that, it is great to be back. It's great to be here. And other than that, we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today, Dylan.
Yeah, that we do. And of course, for the people that used to listen to us in Season 1 and 2, we actually had a third person that was across the pond. Not the little pond, but like the ocean.
Oh, man.
So,
that was great because... a real quick sense of love to Owen Bradhurst, aka Silent Echo. It was great to have him on the show. He brought a really cool aspect to our show that I think was a lot of fun and helped me to learn a little bit more about how a true podcast format is built. As it was really fun to pick his brain for a guy that's probably watched more podcasts than I've watched YouTube videos in my lifetime. So I think to say, yeah, it is a lot because I've watched pretty much anything from across the spectrum. I've gone as far, Dylan, from Logan Paul all the way to iDubbbz to, just name the content creator that I've probably not seen before because I probably couldn't mention it.
I thought you were going to say from Logan Paul to Jake Paul.
I've seen from the spectrum of Logan Paul to Jake Paul. That's exactly what kind of spectrum that I've looked at in my lifetime. Yes, Dylan, thank you. That's literally YouTube today is just Jake Paul and Logan Paul.
That would be.
Yeah, all I watch is daily vlogs nowadays. That's all I do. No, I'm just kidding. I throw in some Linus Tech tips in there. I'm a nerd at heart, so you know me. I gotta learn about my new fun equipment that comes out every once in a while. But other than that, just to take back in to recording again. It's been too long, Dylan. Like we threw in a bunch of content in the can to be ready to go, and now getting back into it, we're just kind of like, wow, this feels great, but also like, wow, I need some WD-40.
Yeah, and of course, we will have a few slip-ups, errors here and there, so try to bear with us.
Kind of like me playing Cuphead, right? Which is going to be one of our topics today. Today we're going to be covering a couple different things. Really, the main focuses that we're going to get to is the news that dropped a couple days ago, which was that Fortnite officially hit 7 million. Overwatch's Haunted Update just dropped today as of us recording this. So this is actually going to be airing Thursday at 9. So this is yesterday for you guys listening in right now. And also, we're going to talk a little bit about Cuphead, what we think about it, what are some initial thoughts going out from the sequence. I've actually played a little bit of it, Dylan. I don't know if you really got into that mix either, but we can kind of talk about that a little bit beforehand. But first of all, since we really haven't done this in a bit. Let's just talk about the games that we've been playing lately, Dylan. I want you to start out, man. Like, what's been going on for you? I mean, what kind of games have you been really hitting a lot lately?
Well, I've actually been playing a bit of Fortnite lately. It's free to play on both PC and Xbox One. So for my friends that I have on Xbox One that I don't have as many games to play with, it's been a great, fun game to be.
So, I'd like to pick your brain because you've played it, I haven't, and I think, and here's my reason I haven't played it, even though the Battle Royale mode is free. I just don't really feel like I would get much of a different enjoyment than playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds or playing H1Z1 even, just because I've already seen this type of shooter style. But tell me, Dylan, like, why would I want to play Fortnite over PUBG?
Well, let me explain to you what Fortnite is, and it can best be said with this simple analogy. When a mommy PUBG and a daddy Minecraft love each other very much, they have a child, and this is it.
All right.
That's basically what Fortnite is.
So
it's like PUBG but with Fisher Price toys.
So to my understanding, the game is pretty much the same way. You start out with 100 people. You can play solo or duo. I don't know if squad has ever been implemented in that game.
Yes,
third-person shooter. Okay, so squad is in that game. It's a third-person shooter. You are able to play. To start with, you have a melee weapon, which is typically an over-characterized version of a pickaxe, if I recall correctly. Yes. Then, in addition to that, you have different guns that you can pick up. Different guns have different special, unique, is it abilities, or is it just specific to their damage that they do?
It's kind of, it's basically just accuracy, damage. Like, the gray-colored weapons are like the normal, the most basic.
Okay.
The green are a little bit better, the purple are even better, and then the golden ones are, like the ones you really want to get.
Okay. So basically, you're aiming for golden weapons, which is like your RPG, your really good semi-auto sniper rifle, stuff like that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So, yeah, I see definitely, some similarities behind that. But, I think what's interesting to me is that my experience with PUBG is that they try to convey that game to be a little more legitimate in terms of realisticness, if that's a way I can describe that, because obviously they associate a lot of guns that are actually in real life. Kar 98, AKM, M16, M4. They go underneath different names, but the same structure of the gun is fairly similar. I know a guy that I watched on YouTube put in together a video about shooting a Kar 98 and what that was like in real life versus in the video game. And the guy had made some comments that it was actually rather very similar to how they shot in comparison to the game in real life.
And that's one big takeaway, is that PUBG is much more based in reality than Fortnite.
Yeah.
To me, Fortnite is not super competitive. Fortnite should basically be just a game that you play with friends, just, goof around, have fun. Because the gun mechanics, the shooting, the variety of weapons, just everything about the weapons in the game is so inferior to PUBG.
So you feel as though the gameplay is more fun, but the weapons and the combat feels like it's better on PUBG?
Oh, hands down. Also, PUBG has the
sorry, something dropped out there. Okay, sorry. For some reason, you dropped out there. One of the cons of doing this over a remote session is that we might drop something every once in a while. I just all of a sudden just didn't hear you at all. But I got what you're saying. It's vehicles versus just straight up walking around all the time.
Yep.
It is really weird to me that we continue to have these battle royale games that continue to use this. I'll just use the H1Z1 term, gas, to force you into a particular circle of the map. Do you feel like, in my opinion, so my opinion about this is that I feel like we really don't even need these circles, but maybe just create a more construed and compressed map so that you really kind of just get that full-on battle ready to go, and then the final people will start hiding off in their respective locations. If after a really long time they just decide to, you know, stay in 2 buildings and just keep camping each other, then I would maybe implement something. But do you feel like that the gas idea may be a little overused at this point?
Here's what I would kind of like. I would kind of like it where in one of these games there was a circle, but the gas never came in to exactly push you out. But that loot, like high quality loot drops, would be more common inside the circle. And then at the end of the game, if like say a time limit goes out, whoever has the most valuable stuff wins.
Okay.
Like valuable loadout. So that it doesn't tell you you have to go into the circle, but that you will still lose if you don't go into the circle. So like it pushes you into the circle without forcibly killing you.
I just wonder if like maybe you could make it in a way that would be a little bit cooler to see. You know, instead of like a gas conveniently forming a circle around you, maybe it's something that, you know, how PUBG has the red zones that come in. What if it red zones around you so that you could technically stay outside of the circle, but you face the risk of potentially getting bombarded?
I do think that would be
like
good.
And like an artillery strike or something. Maybe it's like a war zone type of spiel where you're in this situation that, you know, you could enter the circle to be a little bit safer from the distance, or from that zone rather, and instead this will help you as you'll be able to do you know, you'll still face the risk in outside of that circle of getting like annihilated, but you like take half damage or something like that. But if you take it twice, then you're dead.
I think something like that could definitely work.
I think now it's interesting to see because of the way that PUBG has been conveyed. You know, ever since this latest update, they've continued to keep getting a lot of negative reviews. Obviously, we were talking about before internally, Dylan, about the big China issue, where a couple Asian servers had third-party commercials going on during an official PUBG server. You know,
that's horrible.
Like, imagine this, okay? For those of you in North America, okay, you're playing on a server, and all of a sudden you get an advertisement for like some type. Just imagine some small company type of advertisement. Like you get this dry cleaning company from across the way somehow just advertising in your video game. Like, can you just imagine what that's got to feel like to just see that?
Did you say dry cleaning?
Yeah.
Like, hey, you people in China, here's an American dry cleaning place.
Hey, I didn't say what specific type of format it was. I just said that it was going to be some kind of company. I couldn't think of anything except for dry cleaning, which is weird because I've never had anything dry clean before. But anyway.
Me neither. That's so weird.
Sometimes you just come up with weird examples, or I do, I should say.
If I did have to say anything else about Fortnite, though, your thing about the smaller map, I will say this about Fortnite. The map feels a lot smaller than PUBG's. Like, I feel like the island in PUBG is at least 2, maybe even 3 times as large as Fortnite's.
You know what's crazy to me, just to give you a little bit of a heads up, per Steam charts right now, the top today, or 24-hour peak rather, was at 1.8 million. Their all-time peak was at 1.984 million. For how much we really just aren't a fan of the fact of how many bugs are in this game. They load a ton of players in. That's really kind of surprises me.
It's impressive. Like, I mean, these Battle Royale games, like 100 active people fighting it out, duking it out on a enclosed space. That is impressive. And of course, one reason why Fortnite might be so popular nowadays is because of it being free. The Battle Royale portion is free.
Right.
I think I would maybe like Fortnite better if I actually bought the PvE mode. But I don't know if I like the game well enough that I'll do that. And I will especially not buy the $175, $200 version.
Speaking of PUBG, since we have a minute, the other thing that was interesting to me, and I'm not sure if I quite threw this in the notes, was did you hear recently about the Microsoft's exclusivity system that they were talking about?
Vaguely, but can you explain it for us?
So basically, there was negotiations that were coming in. For those of you who don't know, obviously PUBG is only on the PC system right now. The interesting thing is that Microsoft is currently in negotiation with Bluehole Entertainment to see if they can make this game into being only an Xbox One and PC exclusive, rather than releasing it for the Xbox One originally and then maybe later on turn it to PS4. They're going to try to keep it so that's only on Xbox One or on the PC system. If this is to happen, I wonder what kind of impact that would have on the player-based system. And also, when are they eventually going to release PUBG? Like, officially release
I know,
PUBG?
yeah. I don't care about exclusive, it being exclusive to PC and Xbox right now. I'm just want it to come to one of the systems as a full game.
Eventually. Don't worry, Dylan. It's going to be like 2018 that's going to happen.
Sorry, you dropped out there for a second.
Oh, that's fine. For some reason, that's going to happen to us every once in a while. I was just saying that, yeah, that was expected. It's probably going to come in like 2018, and then we're going to be really happy about it when it actually happens. But until then,
PUBG coming 2020.
It's still an alpha, and it's still an early access game. There's still a lot of bugs. Servers are still moderately okay, and though they're dealing with 1.8 million on their top for server base on 1.8 million as their like top performer. That's to say, kind of surprising still how they manage that kind of number. I'd love to, like I said before, I've said this before on a podcast, I'd love to get someone from Bluehole to come in and just to talk with them for a few minutes and really just pick their brain, see what it's been like for them.
Yeah, like this massive success for a game that's still an alpha.
Yeah, it's
incredible.
Obviously, just to re-say what I said before, they putting PUBG on Xbox and PC only is kind of interesting, because originally the plan was to put that on PS4 later, but on Xbox One first. I think there was a game that they compared it to, and I can't quite recall which one that was. There's a game that they compared it to where they released it to Xbox and then it went to PS4 shortly after that, and I can't recall. But they want to try to keep that to be exclusive to Microsoft, which kind of begs the question, is PUBG really going to want to make that move? Because granted, that game's had monumental success. Would they have more success in making it an Xbox exclusive, or would they be successful in being able to monitor it and put it on both platforms, that is Xbox and PS4?
I think that this is short-term gain versus long-term gain here for the creators of PUBG.
Okay.
Because if they sign a completely exclusive deal with Microsoft, the money they get from that probably very lucrative deal will help them squash bugs, will help them put more effort into the game now in the development phase, and will be able to support it easier between two consoles rather than three.
Here's my curiosity.
They won't have as large of a player base, but they will have less to deal with in their own right.
Yeah, I think you got it on there. I think that maybe that it would help them in some way, shape, or form, but I think that at the end of the day, I think the reason that they had a lot of their bugs they still had today was just simply because of the fact that once this game released, they weren't expecting 1.8 million people to be playing the alpha. Their max that they planned this for in a forum that they posted about, they were expecting, tops at 1 million if it got lucky. But now their top, typically on a 24-hour basis, their top all time was 1.9. But most of the time you're going to be about 1.8, 1.7 throughout that. So that's to say they definitely blew their own expectation. Therefore, a lot of their virtual servers are going under a lot of stress, which is why a lot of servers that you will play on, their initial start may not be as great because they're still trying to load in everything for everyone in that beginning.
Yeah, and I do think that we hit it right on the head because, we are very knowledgeable in what we do here. And we've both played a lot of Battle Royale games, mostly PUBG, but I've also delved into Fortnite.
Yep. I played H1Z1 before too.
And H1Z1.
I've and just let's go back for a second because I mean H1Z1 was the starter, to this whole battle royale thing where you would construct yourself into a specific arena. Well, I call it arena, but a specific location, and then you would face off against someone else. It could be close combat with a shotgun or an automatic rifle, even submachine guns or other mixes. You would drive around and navigate through with a vehicle, which for some reason in H1Z1, the police car is the best thing ever, which doesn't make sense to me, but that I'm diverging. One thing that I think that H1Z1 didn't hit that PUBG did hit was that PUBG feels like a realistic battle royale game, and whereas H1Z1, its original concept, and I'm not bashing its art style, but rather the way that you played it just seemed a little odd to you. You weren't aiming down sights with specific guns. You were playing third person, and you'd aim over your shoulder, and there's no bullet drop. There's no anything in that mix. Whereas in PUBG, you're accounting for things that you didn't think of beforehand. Rainy games, fog games, your visibility or even your audio is interfered with. And so you have to figure out some other way to really balance that. So that's something that's kind of the benefit that PUBG brings. So now Fortnite comes in. They've officially hit 7 million players now between their base game and Battle Royale mode. First of all, are you even surprised that they hit 7 million with the way that Battle Royale games have been really booming in the last 2 years?
I'm not surprised for one key reason. Sorry. I'm not surprised for one key reason. It's free. Battle Royale games are so popular that if one came along and was like, oh, it's free? Yeah, sure, I'll play it. No reason not to. I mean, I'm surprised it doesn't have more people playing it because of the fact it's free and not a $30, $40 game like PUBG.
Okay.
And the popularity of these games, you have to remember, Battle Royale games, they all really came from Minecraft, which is a very weird thing to look at, that something like Minecraft could have spawned PUBG, spawned Fortnite, spawned H1Z1, because this is a very relatively new genre of video games.
Can you just delve to me more about how Minecraft built PUBG?
All right.
I've never heard this comparison before, so I really would just like to hear how you got to there.
So I was looking up the history of these Battle Royale games because I was wondering why they were so popular. And it turns out that they really got popularized, / one of the first games to really go for this feature was Minecraft with... Have you ever played a Hunger Games game on a Minecraft server?
Oh, okay. I think I know where you're walking with this now, but keep going. Yeah, I have, to answer your question.
Well, there was never anything like this, like a complete battle royale, like a big person game where it was entirely focused on PvP. Because of the popularity of the Hunger Games games on YouTubers' channels like PewDiePie's, Ant Venom, and I believe Sky Does Minecraft was the other one that they cited.
Of course, there's other ones too. I mean, Captain Sparkles, I'm sure, has done something. I think my Markiplier in his former drunk Minecraft days has done it. I mean, it was a very popular thing.
And it was that really made this idea of big person survival of the fittest type modes. And eventually you would get Ark bringing in a mode exactly called that, survival of the fittest. And it was actually made to be used in esports tournaments. And that was in 2015. So that plus, H1Z1 coming, PUBG, Fortnite, it all kind of spiraled from there, but it really did start getting popular / originated with the Minecraft custom games. And that's something that, it's so mind-boggling to know that that's where these gritty action survival of the fittest games came from.
You know, I really love that idea, Dylan, that you brought Minecraft into this mixture. I would like that fact check, though, just mainly because I don't know, like, I couldn't imagine that a Battle Royale game started from Minecraft, but because my curiosity is I wonder if anybody did anything before H1Z1, and that might be something we might reserve for another podcast, or for you awesome listeners out there, you should definitely check that out. Tweet at us at Level Up Weekly if you have any information on that too, because we'd love to hear from you guys on what exactly your thoughts are on that. So, all right, well, I think we're done talking about Battle Royale games. I think. Let's talk about another game that I can't seem to be good at, which is Overwatch, in the new update that just dropped recently. To start with, the PTR update really put in this interesting Mercy change. I'm not even going to talk about Halloween yet. I just want to talk about this Mercy change, which is going to be interesting. The Valkyrie ultimate ability doesn't immediately reset Resurrection's cooldown, which, again, long story short, if you know what Overwatch is, Mercy's that person that's like, I died, and then she's like, no, you didn't. Get back up. Like,
nope, I'm not letting you die.
It's like, I'm dead. And she's like, no, you're not. And just comes in and does something, whatever. And instead of instead of resetting Resurrection's cooldown, it's going to have no effect on your skill's cooldown timer. Instead, it's just going to double the Resurrection's range. So basically, when you use your ultimate, you just can choose whoever you want with no form of reset to revive. And then you can also double the range that you came to before to come and get them. So, Dylan, you play Mercy more than me. I think you're happy about this.
Kind of. So, do you know if it means that no effect on the skill? Is it still going to be 8 seconds?
No, there's no skill cooldown timer anymore. You can revive as many as you want during your ultimate.
Oh, wait. That doesn't sound right. I thought it was...
Unless they changed that because of the PTR update. I mean, the last thing I had read was that that's what it was. I mean, you're more than welcome to research that and counter me. But from what I was reading, I think the source was GameSpot. They said that the public test release was that the Valkyrie Ultimate was going to reset the Resurrection's cooldown. There was going to be no effect on its cooldown timer. Wait a minute, let me read this. Maybe I'm just not reading my own notes right. No effect on skill's cooldown timer. Instead, doubling resurrect. Never mind. I guess it just adds range to it. Whoops.
Yeah.
But if you did res someone and use your ultimate, then it would reset that cooldown, though. Like if you were at, I think it's 10 seconds. I forgot what the amount was for you to res someone else. What was the timer?
Or when you're ulting, it's every 8 seconds you can heal.
Okay.
Or you can res. Without it, it's every 30 seconds.
Okay. So, like, if you had just used it, then they would reset that specifically then. Okay. Got it. Cool. So, I messed up my own notes. Good job, me. I'm a genius sometimes. I even put them in fancy formats and everything else today. I'm really good at my job sometimes, Dylan.
Yeah, and don't worry, I'm here to fact check you, but with these changes to Mercy, I have a really mixed feeling about it. What I would definitely prefer is, because the way it is now, like currently, it's so like the reason why she was changed, why her ultimate was changed, was because it was just really unfun to play against a Mercy, because a Mercy would just hide in a corner, wait until her entire team died, and then res all of them to get them all back in the fight, basically make it like nothing ever happened. With her current state, as of right now, you can still do that. It's just you do it one at a time. Because you can res, then ult, then res, and then you get so many reses that you can do it at least 4 or 5 times within the span of your ultimate.
Mm-hmm. So your issue... Sorry, go ahead.
If I had my way, this is a step in the right direction, but it's still not going to completely take care of the problem, and I think it might actually make her a little too weak in this case.
And to me, to reset that skill rank with double the range?
No, because here's the thing. From what I understand, it does not, unless I'm understanding this wrong, it's that it has returned the timer to 30 seconds.
No. Because it's just like the ultimate beforehand. If you just use your ultimate, Sorry, if you had just resurrected someone, then you use your ultimate, it resets that cooldown. So that means that you've got it back, is what I'm saying.
Yes,
Maybe I put that incorrectly. So your 30 seconds is right back. You can res someone again. Then it's not going to change that 8-second timer while you're at your ultimate, though. You're just going to double the resurrection range that you had beforehand. So whereas before you had to practically be right on top of them, now you can have a little bit of safe distance that you can fly in, fly back out, and be okay with it.
Oh, no, I get it now. Okay, so we actually both had it wrong here.
Oh, cool. Cool. I'm glad that we decided to say an entire 5 minutes worth of content to say we were wrong.
So here's how it works. The cooldown is now still going to be 30 seconds.
Okay.
When your ultimate is active as well.
All right.
But you're going to be able to, that will double the range instead of having to be right on top of them. So you can use your ultimate, res again, but then it's going to take another 30 seconds for you to do it again. But that second res can be from a longer distance.
Okay.
So I do believe that's better. I do believe that's more fair than what we have now, because as it is now, with how short the cooldown timer can be, you can res 4, 5, 6 people back to back to back because of how short the cooldown is.
Yeah.
I'm actually a big fan of keeping it longer, because that means she's not going to be as used. You're not going to now she's a must pick on
resurrect everybody. She's going to be used so that she can keep healing people like the actual support class needs to implement.
Yeah, because she is very strong in her ult. I mean, she can heal everyone, damage boost everyone. She's very, very strong, and her mobility is like the spectator camera. That's basically what her movement is. So I believe this is going to keep her more geared towards her intended use, rather than making her entire thing, oh, you must pick her so you can res 7 teammates.
Okay.
So I'm very happy with this. I think it'll also give room to let other healers be used more often than now, because you typically want 2 healers on a
bring
team.
Lucio back again.
Exactly. You really want 2 healers on a team, but because of how strong she's been, everyone has been kind of going in this meta where it's 2 tanks, 3 high damage dealing characters, and then 1 mercy. And I think that is the lamest meta ever. So I'm very happy for this change.
You know what I got to give respect to about Blizzard is I talked about this when Rocket League got its new update. Its new update implemented a way for demos to be easier than they were before, and a lot of people complained and were like, oh, that's not a good thing. But it changed the meta. It changed people wanting to actually go for that physical play and maybe go at an opponent rather than go after the ball at certain cases, because they find that you would be able to take out your opponent and be able to score an easier goal. Stuff like that is a really good thing to change in competitive, because changing up your competitive nature without completely restructuring the system each season is a nice plus to have, because then you get to have a different set to the game. You know, I don't go in and play 6 hours, one day, the next day, same 6 hours, the next day, same 6 hours. And I eventually get to my 1,000 hours in the game and I master everything behind it, but then I get bored of it. For Blizzard, a lot of their games, and I'm not just talking about Overwatch, but I'm talking about Heroes of the Storm, other mobile games they have, even
Diablo.
WoW for some reason. Yeah, Diablo. Well, I don't know if Diablo does it as much. Mainly competitive games that I'm thinking of. One of their main things is that they try to change certain characters to enhance the meta in some different format. I mean, Dylan, I played in Season 3, and I moved to Season 6 after that. For me going from Season 3, where it was pretty much play as Reinhardt, then you have 2 tanks, 2 healers, and 2 DPS / different characters, and now it can be 1 tank with 2 different healers, DPS, and some other things. It's cool that you see this change because now you're thinking of different strategies. Now you're thinking of different ways that you can team and play with each other. And now you're thinking of different characters that you may want to get better at because your favorite character probably got nerfed. Thanks, Overwatch. I really did kind of like D.Va. But anyway, I'm not salty.
She's still pretty good now, though.
She's been better. I've realized that the more that I've played her, that the missiles really don't do as much damage as you think they do. And you would think that they would because they're missiles, but they more or less just offer you an ability to really just break more of Reinhardt's shield. That's all that I think I've gotten to. Her fire rate for her guns are just not what they were in the beginning. I think that's the main issue that I have. But like I said, they change meta so that you think about different characters and think about their different ways to play that character. Like listening to Level Up Weekly? Wish you had more content? Check us out over on levelupweekly.podbean.com to check out some of our latest episodes and some extra additional content. So the interesting thing to me, Dylan, is that this new Valkyrie ultimate ability. Okay, so now that we fixed what we were saying before, because apparently we're all geniuses, and also for some reason your mic halfway through just all of a sudden you dropped an octave somehow.
I was talking
and
like
then
this.
You went from dropping an octave to all of a sudden, oh look, now I just have a really irritating microphone. All you had to do, I guess, was just disconnect and reconnect it. Hey, it's like as if I work in IT and that works 90% of the time. Hey,
percussive maintenance is my favorite form of maintenance. If it's not working, just hit it.
That too. Please don't hit the microphone though with me listening, because otherwise you're gonna hurt myself and everybody else that's currently listening to this podcast right now. I'd rather than have people tune out because you're hitting your microphone. You know, I don't want. Oh gosh. Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa. You change volume really randomly. Man, your microphone really doesn't like you.
Are you sure that wasn't just me doing my voice?
Unless you just got closer. I adjusted it. Yeah, I think we're okay.
Yeah. I got a little closer, but as a side note, I always hate when people, because I've worked with audio tech for many, many years, I always hate when I see people do the drop the mic thing.
Yep.
Because those mics are expensive, dude.
See, I would drop it, but I drop it on my foot. See, you would like me.
I cringe because I see people just drop them on like hardwood floor, and it's like, dude, that mic costs probably more than some people's houses.
Yep. Exactly.
But anyway, we were talking about Overwatch. We were talking about Mercy.
Yep. And so I think we pretty much covered what we wanted to about that. There really wasn't too much else that they tweaked upon the characters. Now we get to talk about the fun thing, which is the Halloween event. Junkenstein's Revenge returns. There's new McCree and Reaper skins. Symmetra is also in that mix. Zarya also has a skin, which I think is really, really great. I went and I saw it before.
Physical. Yeah, it's so great.
Let's get the physical. Let me hear your body talk. Body talk. Let me hear. Okay, sorry.
It's so great.
I get
totally 80s.
Every time that song gets down, I'm just like, that's as we say in Twitch chat, that's my sour please moment of the day. Sour please is this emote that's a GIF emote of this guy in a grocery shop that he gets down on the ground and just starts doing the weirdest breakdance you've ever seen before. He just like starts getting down and it like anything that you listen to, this guy almost matches the beat perfectly. It's the funniest thing to me. Better Twitch
That's
TV. Great. What a great tool. But sorry. Anyway, we got sidetracked. Halloween event that's going on October 10th, November 2nd. Junkenstein's Revenge returns. For those of you who didn't play it last year, basically you get, if I remember correctly, maybe you have to explain this more than I do, Dylan, because I played it like 3 times in my entire life.
It's basically your typical PvE mode. There's a bunch of zombie omnics that are attacking a castle that you have to protect. You get to pick between, well, there's 2 modes. One where you have to pick one of 4 people, either Ana, Hanzo, Soldier, or McCree. And you have to fight off waves of them. You also have to fight off Evil Mercy, Evil Junkrat, Evil Roadhog, Symmetra. And you just basically have to protect the castle. There also is now an endless mode where you can pick even more characters now. You can pick Torb, you can pick Zenyatta, you can pick a few other characters.
Yeah,
And
it's kind of exciting with the update of new characters, because I think it was last year. Let's see, it was Ana, Soldier 76, McCree. You could play as I think what is
Hanzo.
there? Hanzo. I think that was the only four. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it last year.
This year they added. Oh, who did they add?
Zenyatta, Widowmaker, Torb, and I think I don't remember who else they added. I know they added one more though.
Oh man, a Torbjorn. I feel like now you're just cheating.
Oh no, Torb is so OP in that mode from what I've seen. Like he basically is just put a turret there and then everyone else can worry about everything else. And that turret just takes care of every like little basic Omnic that comes at you.
Seems legit. Well,
but it's so much fun, and it's definitely something that you want to play with a bunch of friends. And it's a very fun and easy way to get Halloween loot boxes. So you can get and here's some of my favorites, and you mentioned some of them earlier. Reaper's new skin is a Dracula-inspired one.
Yep.
Which is super cool. And to counter that, you have McCree, who has a Van Helsing vampire slayer skin. So it's just so cool. Torb has a Viking skin. Ana Amari has a pirate skin with a bird, like an actual parrot. So that's just really cool. As you heard from Sfernade's little breakdown session earlier, we have 80s Zarya, which is awesome.
Physical.
And we also have. I'm waiting to see if people get. I'm waiting to see if people get upset by this because even
the
my
fact that I
girlfriend
keep singing this song.
Absolutely, but even my girlfriend pointed out to me earlier that the skin for Symmetra is now a dragon skin, where she's a kind of a dragon human lady.
I thought that was actually really cool, to be honest with you. I really like the new skin because I don't know. I just like when I look at it, I'm like, I really hate Symmetra mains, but I'll make an exception if they're using the dragon skin.
It's really cool, but I'm wondering if people are going to get upset because it's not it doesn't have much clothing on it, really. It's not anything like explicit, like you don't see like a completely naked person. But
it's more construed to her body.
Yeah, like it sticks to her body, but I'm wondering if people are going to get upset by that because it's like my girlfriend pointed that out to me, and I didn't really realize it.
I hate to be frank with you, but quite honestly, this is the internet, and someone will likely get upset over it. My thoughts is I'm not upset about it, but it's not because of that reason. I genuinely think it looks really, really cool. The way that the artist conveyed the eyes for the character especially was really interesting to me because you look in and you immediately do think of a dragon like inside. What's the word I'm looking for? I guess I would just simplify it and just say a really cool dragon feel to that skin. Of course, being dragon inspired, but I don't have an issue with it. Of course, if it really does present an issue, I'm sure Blizzard will deal with it because they're known to typically handle those things pretty well, which is a good segue into our other topic about Overwatch, or generalistically speaking, Blizzard. Jeff Kaplan recently had something on a forum where he was talking about how he found it difficult to have developers really post online because the moment that they said something, it could sometimes lead into some really chaotic stuff behind it. What I'm talking about here is a couple days ago, there was a question that came up here that was underneath a post. I don't quite remember what the name of it. I think, see if I can pull up to the top. Do you think Overwatch team simply not... Wow. I totally forgot how bad this general discussion thread was. Do you think Overwatch team simply not have enough people was the name of the thread? First of all, your grammar, really, really bad. Jeff Kaplan comes back and actually talks about this in this forum post here. It's over on battle.net. It says the following things. When we launched Overwatch in May of 2016, our team comprised 70 developers. When I say developers, I'm specifically talking about artists, engineers, producers, sound/music and designers, and game designers. We're now just north of 100 developers. We do have a few open roles. You can check our job site for these. But we mostly feel pretty good about the size of the team in regards to the things we'd like to accomplish. One of the things we value as a team is the concept of doing more with less. Even though I wouldn't say we're necessarily a small team as modern development standards go, we're certainly not an overly large team either. And of course, it goes a little bit further here. Quotes here such as, while most players have a few quote-unquote causes that they focus on, we, the team, care about literally every experience that has anything to do with Overwatch. We care about where a button on the screen goes, what sound it makes, what color it is. We care about what the email says to a player who has just been banned. We care about constantly trying to improve ping times worldwide and server uptime. We care about what May says when she is sad. We care about the integrity of top 500 play, the tournament rules for esports, how big the Overwatch logo is on a backpack. We care about all 26 heroes equally. Developers speak to you directly using our real names. Now that's something, the last quote that I put there is what I want to focus on. Because for a developer of a game, for some people that's their life, their career, whether it be competitively or just in a general Twitch entertainment environment, to say that this video game for some people can be their life, and for a developer to come back and lash at something. And you know how we had that episode, Dylan, where we talked a lot about the ability to be anonymous on the internet and how, you know, people are willing to really get into the crap talking part of their life where they just start saying really horrible things, or even to the point of death threats for some people.
Of course, back in our toxicity special.
So that's where this is one of those things that it almost kind of makes me sad, because to think about this, you know, if a developer goes online, anything that they say, no matter what, will probably get read over 10 to 15 times to see if there's a subtle hint for a new update getting dropped. That's the scary part. And what's funny is that it could be the lightest thing. He could make a joke that he's going to eliminate Junkrat, and that could be the next GameSpot article that comes in. That's the scary part. Everything's monitored by them.
I mean, Jeff Kaplan, our Lord and Savior, praise Jeff Kaplan. Thank you. Our Lord and Savior, Jeff Kaplan. It is really kind of funny that he puts himself out there and that he's become kind of a meme in his own right with the his familiar intro to all of the PTR updates and everything. And if there are some fans, because people can get really into video games, just take people that spend thousands and thousands of dollars on microtransactions for something like League or Overwatch. These people can get really, really mean about it. And if you know, they do something like they nerf a hero that you really enjoy and you're, you know, more belligerent, you're going to probably send us hate mail to them. And that's really scary that, you know who to target, you know who's to blame, you know these people's real names. And if you're even crazy enough, you could probably find their addresses. You could probably find stuff about them. And that's a really scary thing, honestly. And I kind of commend the Overwatch team.
For any value power that we have here on this podcast, I would just like to publicly say that people do that. Screw you. I understand that's a little strong, but guys, at the end of the day,
pretty creepy, dude.
These are the guys that are working their 9-to-5 jobs, and that's what they're trying to do, is to make your experience the best possible. This is for people back at Bluehole. This is back for any company that ever makes a game ever. You know, it could be someone's life that you improve by playing this video game, but you got to remember at the end of the day that people developed it so that people could play it and enjoy it, get out of what they're doing on their daily routine or something in different situations. But at the end of the day, you just got to realize these are also human beings too. You know, you can't go out and bash them for their little things. You know, I want to go back here to more about what Kaplan said on this here. Next quote that I've got that I noted from reading this forum post was, And if you'll allow me to speak openly for a moment, which of course, if you remember in the video where he's talking about toxicity in the Overwatch community, he says something similar. He goes, if you'll let me speak openly for a moment, it's scary. Overall, the community is awesome to us, but there are some pretty mean people out there. All of our developers are free to post on these forums. Very few of us actually do because it's extremely intimidating and /or time consuming. It's very easy to post the wrong thing to make a promise to the community that no one intended to make. Once we say we're working on something, we're not allowed to take it back. It's set in stone. Which, what we said before, anything that you post on the internet is considered true, especially if you're, you know, a developer. I think Dylan died.
Nope, sorry. I thought you were going to say more.
No, I think that's really the main spot I had to say was that's the thing is developers can really, they can say what they want to say, but if they accidentally jokingly promise that they're going to buff Junkrat or something, you know, there's going to be people that are going to constantly email him until it happens. And
yeah,
that's something that sometimes you can't take what they say too literally.
Yeah, I mean, I commend the people at Blizzard for being so open and honest and keeping a good form of communication with the community. But they're just people too, guys. You can't really give them too much crap for something like, oh, they didn't do exactly what they said they were going to do, or, oh, they promised me that Junkrat was going to have 3 mines, but he only has 2. I mean, they are just people. They're doing the best they can, and they're trying to make the game fun for everyone. Not just specifically you, but everyone. So I really commend them for how they work and how they run the game. That's one of the reasons why I really enjoy playing Overwatch.
Yep. And one thing that the Overwatch team, I commend this type of business strategy. It's risky because you can really bite yourself back in the butt for it. Is this ability to be open as your business to people, you know, for you to actually introduce people working behind the scenes. I mean, for Jeff Kaplan to come out as kind of the quote unquote face of Overwatch and really just go out and say, hi, direct your stuff at me, and then I can discuss how it goes. Sometimes we like to call it in business the scapegoat, where, you know, Kaplan will come out and people can be like, come on, Jeff, do this thing. You know, Steam was kind of like the same way, where everyone makes fun of Gabe Newell. You know, he owns the company, yeah, but it wasn't him that did A, B, or C. So that's the other thing to keep in mind, too, is that Kaplan really put himself in a position for this to occur, so I got to give him respect for it. His last quote here I've got is, also, because we are open with you and do not hide behind an anonymous handle, like all of you have the luxury of doing. I love how passive-aggressive that sounds, by the way. We oftentimes get personally attacked or threatened. So that's another thing that comes in for that as well. That's the scary part, is for the internet to be an anonymous place, but for a developer, at least in Overwatch's terms, you're at least considered by your actual name. And I think you touched on this before, where this is something that you feel scared about because people know you and they can find your address. They can do really bad things to you if they really wanted to. But at the end of the day, the question is, are people going to actually do that?
I mean, 2 of the developers I actually share names with characters in the game. I mean, Jesse McCree works for Blizzard. He is a developer on Overwatch.
Yep.
First name, anyway, Jesse. And his look is based off of him. So, I mean, they have a really close tie with their game. So it's very easy to anything that in the game, you know, it reflects their work. It reflects everything that they put into it. And it's so scary when people can personally attack you because they don't agree with what you did. They don't agree with not making every one of McCree's shots do 20,000 damage. I mean, you know, people, like I said, they do the best they can, and I really respect them for it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. I think that they definitely developed a really solid game underneath it. I think it was very clean on their whole interface. I'm not trying to be a Blizzard fanboy because I'll be honest, I'm not. I only play Overwatch. So, and that even is sparingly. Like, I just picked it back up again after like a 3 or 4 month hiatus. But I'm not going to bash the fact that they have been a good company to work with. They have been decent on support forum tickets. They've been so far good with a lot of other things, and that's something I got to give respect over to Blizzard's side, more specifically Overwatch's team in general. So I guess that's what happens when you have a lot of money, Dylan. You can make a decent company and be open about your stuff. Otherwise, just make Jeff Kaplan in charge of everything. That works too.
Our Lord and Savior, Kaplan.
Our Lord and Savior, Kaplan. Okay, next thing, which is kind of fun. We're going to go one last thing before we peace out for this episode. Let's talk about Cuphead. Let's talk about something that probably deserves to be mean. Okay, so my best comparison for this game, Dylan, is that this is basically retro, more difficult Pac-Man.
I would heavily disagree.
Oh, okay.
I would say it's more difficult and more 1930s Mega Man.
Isn't that technically what I just said, except for the 1930s aspect?
No, you said Pac-Man.
I said retro stuff. Wait, what? Did I say Pac-Man?
Pac-Man?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just like go back for a second. Retro Mega Man. Why did I say Pac-Man? I'm mad at myself now. I don't even know how that came out.
I completely agree.
Yeah, it was a retro version of Mega Man, but suited to be a little bit more difficult. The controls are actually, in my opinion, a little bit cleaner, but you face a lot more action that comes at you at the same time. So I think that's the one thing that Cuphead's got going for it. And, you know, I think what's interesting to me is how, especially they convey the bosses. Like the bosses, you know, first, I guess before I even go there, like just to appreciate Cuphead's artistic style for that game, like that's cool. Like I at the end of the day, I just gotta appreciate that they put in this like retro cartoon style into a video game that also portrays the like Mega Man feel, where it's a shooter, but your shooter is apparently you just continually snapping your fingers at someone, which I thought was funny. And otherwise some other little things too.
The visuals are heavily inspired from 1930s cartoonists, most notably Max Fleischer's Fleischer Studios. I said that right? Yes, okay.
Okay, very interesting.
Yeah, very affectionate. Like, they did not skimp on this game. It looks beautiful. It is everything that I could ever want in a retro style game, most notably with this particular animation style. I've just loved everything about this game. And actually, I think in the coming week or weekend, I'm going to start a playthrough with my girlfriend because we both just love the style and it just looks so cool.
Yeah, interesting, because I've been interested in potentially picking this up myself. So maybe you'll see it. Maybe we can put something together that we can run something on the Level Up Weekly Twitch channel or something.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Maybe stay tuned for that. Twitch.tv/Level Up Weekly. You can check it out there. But I think that pretty much caps it there. We just know this is a difficult game. Listen, I'm just going to say that. It's a difficult game, but it's a fun game. If you have the patience and you're not a guy that gets short-tempered really quickly, you'll enjoy this game. You'll enjoy this game a lot. It was structured fairly well. The art style is really fun to go through. Music is well constructed for the style of this game. So I think that it's going to be pretty cool to see what comes out of it. So other than that, I think that's pretty much going to do it for us here, Dylan. It is great to be here. Hopefully, as I'm going through posts, that this isn't too tricky to go through, as again, we're not doing this directly from the radio station right now. We are actually doing this from remote locations, from Grand Rapids all the way down to, I don't remember the city name that you're from, Dylan.
Muncie, Indiana.
Muncie, Indiana. So probably about 6 hours-ish from each other.
5 to 6, yeah.
5 to 6, something in that ballpark. So thanks to the world of Discord for making our lives easier and adding bandwidth so that I can make this sound even clearer than it was before. Maybe it sounds better. Maybe it sounds worse. We'll find out. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. Make sure to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Level Up Weekly. Give us the support over on that edge, guys, because keeping that keeps the content flowing, keeps us in our computer chairs, rocking and rolling, and continuing to make great work for you guys here. We really appreciate you all over here at WRHC and WRHC. We love to be here every Thursday night for you beautiful people. You can also check out our past broadcasts on Podbean, which is levelupweekly.podbean.com. You can check us out over at that avenue as well. You'll see some different posts and forums that we put together, and you can also check out some previous episodes. You can even check out our interview with Hannah Roster, which I'm sure you just heard re-air recently. That was a lot of fun to do as well. Hopefully we can do more of that for you. Dylan,
and
is there anything? Yeah, go ahead. Is there anything that you want to add in?
And of course, for our listeners, you are listening to, if you're listening on the radio, you are listening to 106.7 WRHC or 93.5 WRHZ, both in Radio Harbor Country and Three Oaks, Michigan.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to today's Level Up Weekly. And tune in next week for your next Level Up experience.